Cheers, guys. Brand new podcast. So today will be a follow-up with the episode I did 2 weeks ago with Martin Brons and Henriette, better known as For the Love of Wheels. She's also traveling through Africa on the back of a 250cc motorbike. And we basically talk about her experience through Africa. She tells an amazing story of getting basically trapped in Morocco for 6 months, not being able to leave the country. And basically just giving her experience of traveling through Africa as a woman. We did have some technical issues in this episode, so if you watch this, you'll see there's a bit of a lag and a bit of issues there, but if I can just deal with it. And please, if you spot Martin's shirt during this episode, if you are actually watching this, please comment and let us know what you actually think of Martin's shirt. And then just be a gift person and like and subscribe and follow and all of that. And let's get into it. Cheers.
Welcome to the Kackbrat Chronicles.
So it's just a bit of technical stuff there on their side, getting everything done.
Is it on the right side? Does it work?
So we'll just have to see if this works. Can you hear me, Henriette?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, you? Cheers. Welcome.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Oh, empty bottle. Fake it till you make it.
Where's your drink? Where's your drink, Mrs. For the Love of Wheels? What's your story?
I don't drink.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lie.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you go to a Facebook page, you can find a very nice video of us just arriving in Rwanda. And after 2 beers and one, what is it called? Amarula whiskey.
Yeah.
She's lying on a bed drunk making a Facebook video. And next morning she's like, what the fuck is this? So yeah.
That's why I don't drink anymore.
But also not any less.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
There's we just have a bit of a volume problem when Henriette talks. So I don't know I think your microphone might just be picking up one. It might just work off one earphone.
So shall we
Do you
try
wanna
for a second?
Yeah, let's disconnect the earphones and see what we get from the phone. I mean, people must understand that you guys are in Kenya, in the middle of fucking nowhere. So if we've got a bit of audio problems, just fucking deal with it, guys. Come on.
Just don't tell anybody that I'm a sound engineer.
Yeah.
Oh, this sounds a lot better. So
Is it
so
better?
we should be okay.
I'll move the phone
Yeah,
a bit
it's
louder
good.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Better.
That's good. Yeah. That's better.
Henriette, I just want to ask you, I think the first thing that I want to ask you is has no one told Martin that fucking shirt that he's got on is an absolute joke?
Yeah, I have like several times today.
Why you make a joke? $400, Ule.
I
don't know.
don't believe you. I feel like that shirt was bought off the back of a fucking truck somewhere.
No, I'll be for real. I paid 12,000 for it. 12,000.
12,000 what?
It's just one of the.
Doesn't matter. It was 12,000.
It's just one of the many things of the list about Martin. I don't know where to start. The shirt issue comes far down. I can just say that on that list.
So what are the other issues?
Yeah, let's not go there. Thank you.
Let's not go there.
Here comes my beer. I'll come up and pay later, or I'll pay now? I'll pay now. Okay.
Sorry, got some financial issues right now.
Just swipe the plastic. Just swipe. It's all good.
He had a
Martin,
dessert
while she's busy
1000.
paying, you can maybe just tell us. Did you guys plan to? How did you guys meet? Did you guys plan to meet up in Rwanda, or was it just per chance that you guys pulled up on bikes and said, "Hey, fuck, I know you. I know this person."
I know you from Instagram. No, we've been in touch for quite a long while, eh?
Yeah.
And then we've been talking about the Congo Nile Trail. It's like an off-road trail that goes like along the Kivu Lake in Rwanda. And yeah, we decided to do it together. So we're like, oh yeah, let's meet up. And it was actually on the border of Uganda and Rwanda.
I think initially we just connected because we were doing more or less the same route. We were on the same bike. And it's nice to connect with people who are, just sharing the experiences. And especially in this case, we could even help each other with bike issues and parts and stuff. So that's been really cool. And then, yeah, we were hoping to meet up for a long time, but you never know where you're gonna be. So then we actually managed to do it in Nairobi the first time together with Mark from Holland as well. And then I went home we both went home.
Did you, huh?
Or did I just? I just arrived. Right? I just.
Yeah, you just came back.
I just came back. Yeah.
When I
went. So yeah, then we met there, and then we agreed to try and meet up again later, and then we actually managed in Uganda, which was really cool. And then for a long time now, Martin has taken the lead on the Oman shipping. So that's something I'm super grateful for, that he's been arranging everything. So that's really nice. And yeah.
I think just to give everyone a sort of like a bit of an intro on you, because I've obviously spoken to Martin on this episode now, and I've done a previous episode with Martin. But you did a hell of an African trip. I mean, you've done quite a few more kilometers than Martin's done. And there's one specific story that I want to get to in a second. But you went where Martin went from South Africa up the East Coast. You came down the West Coast and then up the Coast.
Not quite true.
No.
I tried. When I took off, it was August 2020, so it was in the middle of COVID, and I wanted to ride to North Cape and then down to South Africa and on the West Coast and come back up the East Coast. But because of COVID, I got stuck in Morocco for 6 months. Fortunately, I was able to move around freely within Morocco and Western Sahara. There was no restrictions at all within the country. So that was pretty cool. It was really nice, actually. But when they... Are you laughing at his burping?
I'm laughing at him just not giving a fuck. I love it.
I heard the story before.
No,
but take me through that, because obviously you've got this plan of getting somewhere, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, sorry, you're going fucking nowhere. You are in Morocco now. I mean, what went through your head getting that message? Like, oh shit, I'm stuck here.
Honestly, when I took off on 1st of August 2020, I already by then didn't even know if I could leave freaking Denmark. So just for every border I crossed, I was like, yay, I crossed this border. It happened. Amazing. And so I knew that I was probably going to have to make a plan B, C, D, E, F. And obviously, when I got stuck there, I would say the first 10 days, I struggled a bit. I was like, ugh, what the fuck? I want to go down the West Coast, and now I'm going to be here. But then I actually started really enjoying it. And it kind of took all the speed out of my travel. And I just haven't been able to pick it up since. So I actually think it was quite the gift. It forced me, some days I would just stay 2 weeks somewhere and I would be bored. And I think I needed to be bored. I think I needed to just to really get down in speed. But obviously it was difficult sometimes. But then when you stay in a country like Morocco for a little bit longer time, and you start connecting with people. And suddenly I got this wedding invitation over here, and then there was another wedding invitation across the country. You know, I was like, oh yeah, I can get there in 3 days. Yeah, I'll see you on Saturday. And so that was really awesome to suddenly really just connect with locals. And I really enjoyed it, actually. I think it was a blessing in disguise that I got stuck there. So when they opened the borders again, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, go.
When they opened the borders again, many countries down the west coast were still closed. So it wasn't possible to continue. So I was forced then to leave Morocco. My visa was out. And then I went back to Europe. I did an attempt of coming down the East Coast instead. But in the end, I had to give up. And thanks. Yeah, just put it down. I had to give up, and I went to Rotterdam and put the bike on a ship to South Africa, because I was just kind of blocked anyway. I tried to make it down to, I mean, not as real Africa, but you know, when you think Africa, you want to go down to the southern part of Africa, obviously.
Yeah.
So I just thought, nah, you know, just get your bike on a container now and get yourself down there, and that was really good timing, because at that time several countries were starting to open up. So Namibia was open, Botswana was open, and Mozambique was open. So I knew that by the time I had done those countries, then more countries would open up, and that's exactly what happened. The only country I missed was Zimbabwe. They didn't open when I was they weren't open when I was ready to enter. So otherwise, I could actually pretty much go where I wanted. So, and then slowly he catched up.
Martin, you obviously have heard the story before, but I mean, listening to this, and also you have spent those 4 weeks with your mother in Namibia. Do you guys feel at some point that, does it go through your head, if you come to, let's say, Tanzania, do you go like, fuck it, I want to stay here for 4 weeks or a month or 2 months to get the most out of it? Or is your budget sort of the biggest problem in terms of that, where you can't necessarily afford it, you have to get to a point at some point?
So like, relatively seen, the longer you stay somewhere, the cheaper it is, because you don't have fuel money, you don't spend stupid money on the road. But for me, it's like always this progression is in my head. I want to get somewhere, you know. I want to cross Africa. That's in my head, and for some reason, it's for me very hard to say like, okay, I'm going to stay enough for a week. This actually a thing we discussed a lot like the past few weeks, and now I'm like, what I said, the last few weeks I was very exhausted. Now I'm like, I really want to stay for a longer time. But yeah, now it was just hard with the shipping coming up. Yeah. But it's something you actually should plan into your trip. But I had a few times, like in northern Malawi, at Mushroom Farm. It's like I stayed there for 8 nights. Like every day, I woke up like, I can't be bothered to go. Can I stay another night? Yeah, okay. Can I have another beer? And that happened like for a week. So yeah.
But it's interesting, because I think that we put a lot of expectations on ourselves to constantly have an adventure. Like every day has to be an adventure. And so we sometimes steal a few days away from the adventure. We get up in the morning and then we do exactly what Martin just described. We're like, no, I'm just going to stay another day. But you already when you woke up, you had the feeling, oh, I need to go. And it can actually be really stressful. So to make a decision to say, I'm going to stay 7 days here. I'm going to stay so long here that I'm so bored that I just freaking go. That's actually so important, because you get such a fatigue after a while, and suddenly you don't appreciate anymore. You don't give a shit about another elephant or about another mountain, and then that's really time to then slow down and just be in one place a little bit longer. So yeah, but for me, I have taken the liberty to really, like, I wanted to get the most out of South Africa. So I plan to use all 3 months in South Africa and just do as many mountain passes as possible and see as much as I could there. I was actually really stressed after South Africa because my itinerary was just so full. I just wanted to see all the places, and even though I feel I missed half of Africa, I have to come back and see even more.
But even I think so. I spent like 3.5 months in South Africa, and I've seen a lot, I've done a lot, and still I'm like,
Yeah,
just scratch the surface, you know.
yeah, exactly.
But
Such
yeah,
But it
what I
must
said
be
before,
it must be a bit of a it must be a bit of, I don't want to say paradigm shift, but I mean it must be a bit of a mind shift going from, as you guys said, you do have this nomadic lifestyle of I need to go, there, I need to get there, and then all of a sudden, in your case, Henriette going, oh shit, I can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
I have to go from 120 kilometers an hour to idling. It must be a bit of a shock to your system.
It's a shock, I think, and there's a lot of expectations connected to that, because when you go on a big trip, you it's like your dream, right, to do this, and you have conversations with yourself about it, but you also talk to friends and family and everybody who knows you're going, and you actually kind of put an expectation on yourself to actually go and do the journey, and then suddenly you're just going freaking nowhere, and that's a tough one, actually, especially with our Western culture. We kind of want to always have that A to B, you know. It's
Yeah.
we forget that it's really not about the destination, it's just about the moment, and it doesn't matter how far you go. You can do 10 kilometers in a day and you have a bigger adventure than any day. And we just like with our to have this, oh, I'm gonna go from North Cape to South Africa, we like that. And when we don't have it, it's difficult to explain to anybody that, no, I was just kind of chilling in Morocco, and then going from west to east and doing weird things. You can't really explain that shortly. And yeah, it's as if our culture, we always gotta have that goal, that destination is important. And so yeah, it is tough. And I think we constantly go from, like, I mean, if you were just home on an everyday, like, normal week, you don't do things every day. You just have a chill day, right? You go to work, you come home, you eat, and to think for us that we can just like put in adventure every day, it's too tough, simply, and especially when you are on the road for a longer time. Maybe you can do for 3 months or so, 6 months maybe even, but after that it starts becoming so tiring, and you're just like, oh, I need a break.
It's interesting because me and Martin did have a chat now about sort of the last few weeks have been a bit tough for him, and I want to ask both of you this question, because I think you do shift your normal. Where I think it was, I listened to a podcast a while ago with Dan Bilzerian. I don't know if you guys know who he is.
he
I
was like
listened to a
this
podcast. I think,
fancy guy, right?
yeah, he's like he plays like poker or something for
Yeah.
a living. He's just like this multimillionaire and just a fucking gun shooting American. But one of the things he spoke about is, I think the conversation started with cars, where I asked him, like, how does it feel like you can just buy any car that you want? And he said, like, at some point your normal shifts. If you draw a line of normal and you've got happy at the top and unhappy at the bottom, and that your normal line is just content. I think and I think this does tie into what you said now, Henrietta, is if you have adventure on adventure on adventure, you are on a high constantly, and your normal shifts, your content level shifts up. And then when you've got a day of doing nothing, it might feel like you're not doing anything. It might feel like I won't say necessarily failing, but it's just that you've got no movement. Do you guys feel like your
I think
content level, your normal level has
yeah.
shifted?
I think it's quite spot on what you're saying, actually. And I think failing is not a wrong word to use in that. It's not entirely wrong, actually. Because, yeah, I feel it with if I'm not like ambitious enough with the type of riding, like it has to be a bit rough dirt roads and stuff. Otherwise, I'm like failing a little bit in my own mind, which is insane. And we had the conversation just the other day because we went on this Congo Nile trail. And it was a little bit scary because it was raining and there was a lot of these like wooden bridges that were just like logs. They weren't cut wood. It was just round logs, and they were going in the direction of the wheels. So it was like really easy to go down on those bridges. And they scared me a little bit, honestly. And the next day, we decided to just go on the highway. The highway was so freaking beautiful. And I think we both a little bit like felt that we were cheating or like skipping the adventure, because obviously we should have gone the whole way on the trail. So we were doing it easy for us. But it's like, what is wrong with taking an easy, beautiful, curvy highway through Rwandan mountains? Like, come on. We're already like the second day in a new country, freaking Rwanda. Culture is new. Everything is new. Why do we have to be so harsh on ourselves? Just take it easy. Enjoy the ride, take a cold beer, and have an easy day for a change,
Yeah, what for me was also like a big difference is like, so I really like off-road riding. It's like you make me very happy with technical trails. But during those trails, you're going through the forest, through villages, and it's fun riding, but you don't see shit. And when you took that highway, but it's not like 6-lane highway we know in Europe. It's like the best twisty road you've ever seen in your life. It's like, I think the longest stretch of straight road in Rwanda is 500 meters. Yeah. The rest is just like flim, flim, flim. It's
Bloody hell.
It's fucking insane.
Yeah,
and
so beautiful.
After every corner, there's like another rice field or like a view over the lake or view over the mountains. It doesn't stop for a few 100 kilometers. And like, it's cool to do these technical trails, but in the end, we're also here to see the country, And and I think we missed out a lot if we kept on going on a chill. Yeah, it would have been a very cool adventure, but still.
Well, you definitely you definitely get a little bit of an identity, like you choose an identity as a traveler, and then like, oh, I'm the traveler who likes to do the dirt roads, like other like to do even more technical stuff and stuff, and then you tell a story about yourself basically, and then you get caught a little bit in it, I feel.
Yeah.
And it's not, nobody is expecting anything from us. It's all in our own heads. And I think this is something that can be a little bit dangerous, that especially actually with social media can trick your own mind into thinking that it freaking matters. It doesn't matter shit. We are just two people on the road on motorcycles in Africa. It doesn't matter at all. We can do anything we want, but we ourselves think that it's important that we stick to our own story, but we created that story ourselves. So, just freaking change it. If you, whatever. It's just like the mental part of this, it's interesting because, we basically take the pattern of whatever we have back home and we bring it with us on the trip, and whatever high performing culture we have in Europe, we just continue to do that on the road as well. So yeah.
Martin, how's your beer? Do you want to go you guys some new beers?
I love that he's so considerate.
Oh, Martin, go get yourself a beer. Go bring a drink for Henriette as well, and then I'll ask her a few questions while you at the bar.
I can't know about,
Okay, here we go. I look forward to this part. Can I have a cider, please? Is cider accepted for the podcast?
Cider's accepted. Whatever you can pick your poison. You'll just Martin. You'll just have to. Oh no, we're not. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you can just go get a beer. I forgot you're not using the earphones anymore.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, go whisper, go whisper penis in someone else's ear.
Exactly. Please, yeah, my ears are bleeding.
I want to ask you, Henriette, obviously, you do most of your travels on your own, and the same with Martin, where you guys spend days on end riding on your own, and obviously you see people at a lodge or whatever. When you do like this trip in Uganda or Rwanda with Martin, this trail that you guys did, do you find that you guys challenge each other a bit more, where you go like, "Fuck it, I've got a guy ahead of me or behind to be a bit more technical," or we need to? Is there a bit of a push there?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would rather say that it's a bit liberating, because the fact that you're so far away from home and you're really depending on your vehicle, right? The Honda, it's got to go tomorrow as well. So you really take care of yourself and your bike and your stuff. It is just so important that you don't break anything, break an ankle, or a wheel bearing or whatever. So on a normal day alone, you just always you never go more than 80%. You just can't afford it.
Okay.
And so when you're suddenly with someone, then you can just relax a little bit more and just enjoy way more, and you don't have that. I'm also a woman. We're always freaking scared of something, so that fear that I always carry with me, it just disappears a little bit when going with somebody. So and knowing that I'll have help if I put the bike down, or I'm in a tight spot, whatever. Then that really just relaxes me and just makes me really enjoy it. Like, I will always still do the dirt roads, but I will often do them with fear. Actually, I have a lot of fear with me when I travel. But it's just a thing that's there, and I just kind of deal with it. But then when I travel with someone, that disappears a little bit, and I'm just having more fun. So that is a really cool thing. I really enjoy that.
First off, cheers, guys. It's always fun having you, Martin, and it's very nice meeting you, Henriette. Welcome to the Kakprot Chronicles family.
Likewise.
This has been very short notice, so I'm very grateful for you guys to step in and do these episodes. Martin, I want to ask you quickly the question that I asked Henriette now is you guys obviously do a lot of riding on your own. Does riding with someone change your riding style? Do you feel like you need to be a bit more macho now and you fucking jump over a tree or go down a river? Or...
No, it's 100% different. I've been talking about this with other guy who's shipping now with us tomorrow. There's these trails you really want to do, but when you're by yourself, you see it on the map and it looks amazing, and you're like, fuck, I really want to do this, but you don't know 100% what you get yourself into. And I've been riding a highway on Google Maps, which at some point was like 4 trees wide bridges, you never know where you're going to get. So you always calculate some margin in there for yourself, and you stay safe, you don't drown your bike. So if I this guy here as well, Richard, I've done some amazing trails with him, because we know if somebody falls, the other can get some help or can help me pick up the bike out of the ditch or whatever. It's a hell of a difference. Yeah.
The thing is, if it's home in Europe or in South Africa, where you can get a truck to come pick you up somewhere, or you can get help easily. You can find a good mechanic or anything, and you just can't here,
Yeah.
So, and I'd say it's such a big difference from going, on that 3-week trip on the Trans-Euro Trail in Europe and just doing some crazy shit with some friends, and then being alone somewhere in Africa where there's getting help it's just a whole different ballgame, right? So yeah, you really put in that margin, as Martin said.
I want to ask you, Henriette, you obviously, I say obviously, I fucking hate it when I say obviously. When I started this podcast, I said a lot, and I've got that out my system, and now I find myself, I say obviously a lot, and it pisses me off. Anyway, I'm going to try and say,
destroy all your podcasts right now. Okay, the rest of the podcast, try not to say "tell me" again.
okay, I do that, yeah. And I do that because I go tell, yeah, no, fuck's sake. Anyway,
I'll never get asked for it again.
now I'm back on again. The for fuck's sake.
Okay, Martin, I'll tell
You guys.
to say penis for half an hour.
being on the road a lot, being on the bike, you guys don't have, obviously you have to eat what's available in terms of like restaurants or whatever. You don't have maybe the best of diets. In terms of Martin, you fucking drink a lot. I don't know, apparently you drink a lot as well, Henriette, but when in Rome, you go for it. So I know, Henriette, you went through a bit of a spell now in terms of health, with what exactly happened?
Oh, that was malaria. I got infected with malaria and also dengue fever in Tanzania. So yeah, I was pretty sick there. Yeah, that was a bit rough.
Do you guys take supplements, anything? Do you have a bit of a regiment in terms of fucking vitamins and minerals and vitamin D and whatnot?
I do sometimes if I can get to if you get to a city and there's a mall, I might buy some C vitamins and a little bit of stuff like that, and then yeah, I drink it with the water, and then when they're over, I hopefully in another country there will be another mall somewhere. But I think when it comes to Martin, he just
alcohol does effects, right?
I wanna ask you, Henriette, we can cut this out, but I like to get into like the nitty-gritty stuff that no one ever asks. Being a woman on a bike, we are in the middle of fucking nowhere. And it, like I said, we can cut this out. We don't have to post this. It's just I'm autistic as fuck, so my mind's gonna fixate on this. When you get woman issues while on a bike and you don't have a fucking chemist or something close to you, what the hell do you do? How do you go about your day?
You know what? That's actually a really good question. I'm lucky that I went through menopause before I went on this trip. I'm 52 years old, so when I was 47, I
You lying?
No.
Are you 52?
Yeah. Thank you, though.
Yeah, I also thought she was 67.
What? Yeah. And honestly, as a woman, it's actually a really cool benefit because it just makes life so much easier. So yeah, I don't have to bother about that at all. And obviously, still, if you want to go it can be a problem. Just going to the toilet can be a bit of an issue. In this part of Africa, there's people where there's nowhere where you can just pop behind a bush without there's going to be 10 kids, looking at your butt while peeing, which is not so cool. And the other day, I was in this little town in Uganda, and I had the shits, and it was urgent. And then I went into a bank, and I just went over to the nearest lady, and I was like, I have an emergency. I need a toilet now. Can you help me? And she was like, oh, but it's like, it's not very nice. And it's like, long drop. And it's, and she was like, really apologizing. I was like, that doesn't matter. Like, just show me where. And then I had to go in the backyard, and there was all these guys working there, constructing something.
It's the best place to go to the bathroom, in the backyard.
And it was just so disgusting. But whatever, But and I actually do since I have a pee cup, like I have a it's actually like a festival plastic cup that is a little bit bendable.
A shiwi.
And no, it's not a pee thing. It's just a plastic cup, and I just in the tent at night I just pee it, and I just throw out the pee. And it just means that I don't have to. I mean, some places it's been an advantage just because of wildlife, and other times it's just been that I wasn't comfortable leaving the tent, and then or it's been so freaking whatever, for whatever reason, then I could just do that.
How does it work? So do you keep like this cup like upright in your tent all night, or do you zip open and do like and then hope you don't step into it next morning?
I don't care if I step into it. It's just pee. The dogs are peeing there. The water bugs are peeing there. Everybody's peeing there. I don't care.
Maybe I'll pee next.
I just wanna say, Henriette, you honestly just blew my mind, because I would never in my life have thought that you were in your 50s. I thought you were maybe late 30s, because you look younger than fucking Martin.
What? I like to stay a little bit fat because it kind of keeps the wrinkles, in shape.
That's why I say a little bit fat as
Well done.
It's not because of
No, flipping hell, well done. This is you honestly, when you said 52, I think my jaw fell on the floor. I might have to pick it up because it's no, well done. I wanna ask you just one more sort of. This might be just like a cliche question, but you did say like riding as a woman, it is a bit. But you've got a bit more concerns than the normal guy, and you are doing something that not a lot of women do. Because Martin, I can ask you most probably as well. How many women do you see riding?
Not too many. I met a girl in Zambia, South Tabanga, the girl you met as well, the French girl. I know some girls because when you're on Instagram, you're like you get into a certain scene and stuff. No, I'm not looking for the girls. I see you laughing. No, but you're like in the scene. Who's riding around, so there are women. But I think it's 80-20 at least, eh?
Probably 90-10, I'd say.
Even 90-10, maybe, yeah. So I met two on the road. Claudie, the wife of Francois. Yeah. So two in 10 months.
It must be a very different experience for you, Henriette. As you said, I mean, you're always a bit concerned about safety, and I've been following you on Instagram for a while. I've checked out some of your YouTube videos and stuff, and you also not one of the tallest people alive. So I'm guessing like if you do take a tumble with your bike, it is a bit more of an issue to get it back upright and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think you always have a little bit of a worry as a woman. We actually talked about it last night that there is a risk of being raped or hurt. That risk also is there at home. But obviously being here alone, you feel a little bit more exposed, and I do think that with my age there comes some benefits actually, because the Africans call me mama, so I get the respect that comes with being a woman of age.
Yeah.
And I feel the culture is quite strong around that here. And like the other day I was crossing the border from Uganda to Kenya, and it was a very small border crossing, and I was standing next to my bike, and there was an officer who kind of kept an eye out on me. I was talking to him. He was very nice, and he was commenting on the bike. And then this young guy came over here, and he wasn't employed at the border. And this officer, he was really looking out for me. He stood there, and he was like, "What do you want from her? What is your business talking to her?" Like, he was just really making sure that I was safe. And I think that is a little bit of benefit that comes actually from being a woman, that many people get a little bit scared on my behalf, and then they want to protect me. And that's actually really nice, mostly. So yeah, that's it is a factor. I think you guys would probably be really shocked if you just tried to be a woman for one day about how many fears we experience during a day, and tactics we have around how to carry our keys when we walk home after dark. Like we're just like always a little bit aware of potential dangers, and obviously, but you know what? I actually have to say that I feel even more safe here than I do in Europe. Actually, as a woman, I feel very respected here. Um, but I also don't go out at bars at night. For example, I never like here when I'm with the guys here now. That's cool, that's 100% safe. But I would never just go alone out to a bar for this and just meet locals. Then I just stay on the campground or whatever. So
That's part of the discussion that me and Martin had in our first episode that we did back in July last year. Is obviously you are in a bike, you're sleeping in a tent or in a lodge or whatever. It's you're not going to put yourself in a situation where you're going to be in danger. You obviously try and move in the light. I almost want to say you try and do the safe option.
yeah, but then I do wild camp sometimes. I haven't done it so much in Africa, because there's just people around, and if I wild camp, I prefer that I'm alone. Then I want to be just in the forest somewhere alone. So I haven't done that much but I really enjoy wild camping. I think it's actually the coolest ever. And in South Africa, I was a little bit too scared to do it. Unfortunately, I was a bit spooked when I arrived in South Africa by all the bloody warnings you get. That I think
Yeah.
it is really annoying. I do understand that are things happening in South Africa, but honestly, as a traveler, I think you're quite safe there. It's a whole different thing when you live and you work and all those things. That's a different thing. But as a traveler, you can feel safe in South Africa. Well, you might get your purse stolen, but that happens in Greece as well, or you can get your stuff stolen anywhere. So things like theft, I don't consider that a safety risk at all. I think that's just an inconvenience. But like personal, like me being hurt, I felt that there were just too many warnings about South Africa, and it wasn't what I saw. It wasn't what I experienced there. I only experienced extreme friendliness, extreme hospitality that I've never seen anywhere in the world as I did in South Africa. Beautiful nature. I mean, the whole Drakensberg, you could have wild camped so many places there without a problem ever. And so, yeah, I would love to come back to South Africa just with a little bit of a different perspective the next time.
I think it's definitely, especially you guys spending so much time in all of these African countries. I think the idea that the preemptive idea that's built up in your head with everything, all the information that you get from other people, it must be different when you're actually there, and when you stuck in Morocco for 6 months, you build up a different idea of what's different. Yeah, but basically a different idea in your head of what's actually going on from first-hand experience than what you got beforehand, and what everyone told you. And I'm pretty sure that, I mean, there must be you guys. There's a flippin' cool quote that I can't remember who said it now, but it basically says, and I love this quote, and I can't remember the whole thing now, but it basically says that traveling is the best fight against bigotry and racism and stuff like that. Seeing different cultures, you understand that some systems just work differently, and it's a lot different from what you hear what's going on. I mean, like you said, you got all this bullshit news and stuff that about what's going on in South Africa. But when you choose the correct paths, it's a shitload different from all the messages that you get and all the info that you get.
Yeah. And I think as human beings, we just always like the dramatic fears. And we don't think that, well, traffic is freaking fucking dangerous. Traffic is actually dangerous. People get killed every single day in traffic. And we are on motorbikes every day. We take a huge risk riding our bikes every day. And that doesn't matter what country. That's a risk. So why would 90% of our fears be fearing the boogeyman or whatever, that guy who kills us, when we are actually doing something really dangerous on the road every day? So I just think that we need to be very like common sense and statistical about what we fear. What is the risk of being killed by a lion? It's non-existent. It's really non-existent. That risk is so small. What is the risk of being killed on the highway on the bike? It's actually a risk. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
That's why we got to wear our gear, and we got to not go too fast and everything. But the other things, freak things can happen, and they happen everywhere in the world. But to run around and be afraid of it really just blocks you from just meeting people. And it's really sad, actually. In the end, in South Africa, because what happened, people would even come up to me at petrol stations saying, just be careful, like this country is not safe. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear this anymore, because it's simply not reflecting what I see. I do know there is violence, I do know, but it's not my risk. And it's not, one day this lady came up and she was like, oh, where are you heading? And I was like, I'm heading to Kruger. And she said, oh, just be careful with Kruger, because it's not safe there. And I was like, what do you mean it's not safe? Thousands of people go there every day. And she's like, oh, well, at the Mumbai gate, there was a shooting. There was some gangs who actually shot at a tourist car and even hit one. And I was like, okay, well, that's like an information that I can use to something. I can then avoid that gate, because apparently in that area there's something going on. I'm just going to go in another gate. But it doesn't make the whole park dangerous at all.
Yeah.
So it's just like boiling it, like getting away from this, like, oh, the world is like, when I was in Angola, I was a bit scared of going to Angola. I can say that. And then when I was speaking to people there, and I told them that I was going to the Middle East on my way home, and I was going to visit Iraq, they were like, but I mean, Iraq is dangerous. And I'm like, guys, that's what everybody says about you guys. So,
Martin, I want to ask you, taking all of your experience into account, and you've just finished your African leg of your trip. You're going into Asia now, or into what did you say? What next leg? Is it the Asian leg? Middle East. Okay, sorry, Middle Eastern leg, and then you obviously heading to Australia after that. Do you think
there's something I have to correct? So I'm first going to get home, because my sister's getting married in July. My funds are running out, because there is some weird yellow liquid here that costs a lot of money, and it's like everything in Central Asia and also Southeast Asia is still quite fucked up since COVID, and now with the Ukraine war. I can't make a proper route anymore. So I decided to go back home for a bit, save some money, and then see what I'm going to do like next. If I'm still going east, or go for the Americas. Or
but I think this is sort of what I want to ask you. Do you see yourself doing this type of traveling for the rest of your life? Do you think you'll travel for 6 months to a year and then go work some and make a bit of money and then travel a bit? Or do you think you will, in a year or 2 or 3 years, go back to working a day job?
I'll definitely not do this full time for my life. Definitely not. I love it, but it's very exhausting, and especially when I was in Rwanda and I was with people from the area I grew up, and it's like I realized how good it is to have a base back home. You know, it's beautiful. It's like it's amazing that there is a place in the world you can go to and everything is just okay, and that's a peace of mind that's very valuable. So I'm not sure, although I just said that, I'm not sure if this place is going to be back in the Netherlands or maybe somewhere in Spain or the Canaries or France. But yeah, I want a place that gives me rest at some point. And yeah, I can't find rest. I'm being on the road all the time. So yeah, but there's a lot to explore, and I want to keep on exploring, and I want to see as much as possible. But yeah, not for the next 30 years, just for the next few years, and then I still have all my adventures and still go for like 1 month here, 1 month there, or maybe a few months or a few weeks. Let's see, but not years in a row. No, definitely not.
Henriette, I wanna pose the same question to you, because you said you fucking obvious. Oh my goodness. You said you're 52 years old now. Do you see yourself traveling your days out, or do you think you'll go back home at some point and sort of live out your days there?
I think I would be quite happy returning home in August. And it's been 3 years on the road, and I mean, all my gear is freaking broken by now, and I don't have in my budget to buy a new tent or new riding gear or new helmet and stuff. And it's just you get tired. And I want to say another thing also. No matter how much I appreciate this adventure, which is like the biggest thing I've ever done in my life, and I'm just so happy that I'm here doing this. But you also get you go from one connection to a person to the next all the time, so you constantly say goodbye. And I actually really miss just hanging out with my friends and my family, and just with people I know, and just waking up in my own house with my cat and going into my garden and growing tomatoes. And that home is a beautiful life as well. And I really feel that the everyday can be just as big an adventure. It really is up to you. What I don't like is like the home television life, where you are living through other people's adventures. So I think that you can really bring the adventure in. Why not on the Friday go to a shelter and camp for the weekend, or just just live your life like that. But to be on the road always, first of all, it costs money. And I also actually sometimes miss work. I also miss colleagues and being challenged. You're being challenged in a different way. So this part of my life, because it's not my life, but it's a part of my life, is awesome. It's so cool. It's challenging. It is adventurous. It's everything. But I would say after 3 years, it's nice to have a break. And then I would probably start planning a new big trip very soon. I think I would definitely.
But I do think that's
another big trip.
I think that's something that that you tend to forget. That we as people, we tribes people. I mean, you're only supposed to have 100 people around you that you know and that you love and that you communicate with on a daily basis. And you guys are running through that on a fucking weekly basis, where you meet new people every day, and you build sort of short length connections with people that you meet on the road. And then in 2 days time you have to say goodbye to that person, and 15 minutes later you meet someone new, and it's a constant rollout new communication, new people, new relationships, and I can just think that must be tiresome, because
Yeah.
it's not, if you're stationary in a town or in a village or in a city, you get to sort of go, okay, I've met 5 people today. I don't really like these 3. I'm going to stick to these 2, and I'm going to keep on communicating with these 2. When you're on the road, like, you have to, like, I mean, fucking hell, Henriette, you have to deal with Martin saying penis every 5 seconds. It must be difficult, just sort of, you have to deal with the people that come across your road are the people that you have to deal with for the next week or 2 days or whatever.
Yeah. You know, it can actually also be easy in the sense that, you know, everybody can be nice for an hour. Even the biggest
Yeah.
asshole can be really nice for an hour. When you spend more time with him, you start realizing, I wouldn't like you if I had
This
to
is the
hang.
moment where I go.
You start realizing I wouldn't like you if I had to hang out with you for a week. You know, you start seeing how he treats his dog or his wife, or, you know, whatever. I'm just making up things now. But then you realize, oh, you know, and that's kind of the luxury of traveling. A lot of people are like, oh, you meet such nice people all the time, and I'm like, yeah, everybody can be nice for an hour, you know.
But on the other hand, it's also like you don't, if for a very long time you hardly meet any people where you can build up like a proper connection with. Sometimes you just meet someone and just like it's chemistry, you know. It's just a bang, and you laugh all night long, and it's a crazy connection. But it's also like sometimes for weeks you just have like these flat conversations, like, oh yeah, what are you doing here in Africa? Yeah, I'm riding my bike from Cape Town to to the Netherlands, and oh wow, and then you get the same list of questions every time, which one side I don't mind because it's logical that people ask these questions, but yeah, you don't build up these deep connections you do back home when you have like friends for a long time, you know, and and that's something I miss.
I think once you're on the road, it is that thing of where the adventure is nice, but you do miss that specific pan at home that you make eggs and bacon with, and you do miss that specific chair that you like sitting in front of the mirror, and in front of the window and looking at the birds, and there's certain stuff. Dude, I look like this. Do you think I look at the mirror? I don't have fucking hair to comb.
I can help you. I can bring you a Louis Vuitton shirt for 12,000.
For 12,000. We're not going to say what, just 12,000. But there must be stuff that you guys are like simple little stuff that you guys miss from home, like your favorite coffee cup, or that street you like to drive down, or stuff like that.
A decent sandwich, just like a really good Dutch decent sandwich with cheese, honey mustard, some good rocket.
Food is definitely
some coriander.
Fuck off.
Honestly, this whole thing, you said this you said this favorite cup, those things for me are disappearing. I'm a little bit like, it doesn't freaking matter what the cup looks like. It doesn't matter if you have a fork and a spoon. You can just eat with a fork and a knife. You can just eat with a spoon, because that's what they do here. All these, you know, I don't know how it is in your culture, but at least in my culture, it's very important that you have the matching cups and the right cutlery and the right everything. Everything has to be so freaking correct. And having eaten with a spork for 3 years, I don't give a shit as long as I get food, you know, and as the food is good. So that I actually like that all those things that we spend our money on, it's not so important.
I must say that when we stayed at the campsite at Olmazor, it was very nice to have like decent plates, decent knife and fork, decent cup.
It was.
That was actually quite nice.
It was.
Yeah, not to have like my stupid metal plate and my lightweight cutlery.
But I don't know. I come from a
It is.
family where this whole like things have, you know, you have like a knife to cut the cheese and you have a knife to cut the butter. Like, I don't care. I have one knife. It does everything. You know, it's like, it doesn't matter. You
It's
know,
a multi-tool even.
yeah, that part I like about traveling, that you just become, everything becomes very simplified, and it is in that sense a simple life. You have so few things to deal with. It's just what you need. I have one pair of pants. You know, it's freaking easy to choose what pair of pants I'm gonna wear today.
I actually had this sort of same conversation last night with a friend of mine that's from South Africa that's immigrated to Ireland, and we had this conversation of how quickly you realize when we came to England with nothing. We sold everything we own in South Africa, and we came here with a few bits of clothing and suitcases. 90% of our suitcases we brought here was filled with toys for my kid, just to make sure that he had some sort of structure left. And
Wow.
you very quickly realize how minimalistic a person can actually just get through life, how easy it is to not have 6 matching cups and 6 matching plates and a massive couch and a massive TV, and you don't need all of this. And with something interesting that he said is they moved a container worth of stuff from South Africa to Ireland, which obviously took a bit of time to get here. And in those, let's say 2 months that they waited for their container to come through, they got by. They still made coffee and they still sorted out this and that. And when the container got to Ireland, they realized, like, we don't need half of this shit. We don't
Yeah.
need fucking 17 throw pillows on a couch. It's simple stuff that you do realize when you actually don't use it, and then you get it, you go, fuck, I don't need this. It's not
So where
necessary.
do the women in lingerie play with then? Where you don't have like the pillows?
The women in what?
Lingerie.
In lingerie.
Lingerie.
Yeah.
So do you need like the 17 pillows, right? So they can fight.
Oh,
Yeah, you need
of
the
course. Yeah. Yeah, obviously the pillows, they have a justification. Yeah, I see. Yeah. No, but it's exactly.
I want to ask. I want to ask. I think I want to ask you guys sort of like if you for travelers that are looking to go to Africa, you guys have obviously seen fucking obviously. Oh my word!
Tell me, what do
I
you
have
want
to
to
stop
say?
saying obviously. I'm gonna tell you now. You guys have seen a lot of countries in Africa now. If someone that's listening to this, this guy or this woman has got, let's say, fucking X amount of money, they can only go to one country in Africa. Where would you guys, respectively, between the two of you, where would you go if you could just visit a country? Where would you advise people to go?
Oh,
I would say Uganda.
that's a good answer.
Why?
Uganda just is like all the animals. So like a lot of people come to Africa for the safari. So you get everything in the safari. It's quite a small country, so everything is easy to travel to. The roads are quite okay. You have the cultural thing. It's green. Yeah, it's a good place to be.
Yeah, you have
And you have Rolex.
You have the small mud huts with the thatched roofs. You know, you
Yeah.
have the original villages. You don't see that so much in Kenya, for example. Kenya is a bit more developed and modern. Yeah, Uganda is a good bet. I think it depends a little bit on that person's appetite for adventure. I think South Africa is also a very, very good place to go. You get so, I would say, value for money there. Like the nature is amazing. The mountains are amazing. It is just so beautiful. There's so many animals, lovely parks. But if you have done Africa a little bit more, then you would, I think, as you said before, as soon as you get north of Botswana, that's when real Africa begins. Some people get offended by that sentence, but that's when the real Black Africa starts. I would say if you really have appetite for adventure, you would go to Angola. That's for those who really want the adventure. And then I would say Zambia, freaking awesome.
And for me, I would. So I said before, if you can pick me up and drop me anywhere, it's got to be South Africa. But it's also for me being a biker. But after that, it's Malawi. Malawi is just, what I said before, it's such a vibe, and I can stay there for months, just chilling. It's freaking good. Because I don't care as much about the animals and stuff, and just love it.
And you can go now go fishing in fucking Lake Malawi.
Yeah, I'm gonna go fishing. I'm gonna catch you a sweetwater bull shark.
I think Mozambique for me was a way. I didn't spend too much time there. I think that would have been awesome. Also, other people say Zimbabwe is just a dream. But, for me, I actually really, really love Botswana. I really love Botswana for the fact that Botswana kind of have turned things around. Like the land is for the animals and the farmers have to fence their farms. Whereas, that's opposite in South Africa, right? The land is for farming and whatever, and then the animals are behind fences. And it's just so cool to ride on the highway in Botswana, and then there's just like freaking 12 elephants, and around every corner. There's no corners because it's just straight roads. So there's just animals everywhere. It's unbelievable. And so I enjoyed Botswana a lot. But come on, how can we choose Namibia? It's so freaking awesome. It's like
I guess it is difficult to just choose one place because everything has its own sort of its own nuance and its own special things going on. So it must be difficult. Listen, guys, I think we're just gonna have to end. There's a hell of a storm brewing on my end here, and I think my internet's gonna fail very quickly because the wind's blowing open the door here. So I think I've got an idea that my internet's gonna fail. Henriette, I think if you can just take a minute and plug everything that you want to plug, where can people find you on like Instagram and on YouTube and whatnot?
Right. I'm on Facebook with the profile For the Love of Wheels. I'm also on YouTube with the same profile, For the Love of Wheels. And on Instagram, I am under Henriette with an E on the end, Henriette _ For the Love of Wheels. That's where you can find me.
Okay, no, great stuff. I'll put all of that in the description. Martin, everyone knows where to find you. I'm not going to ask you again, but I'll put your stuff in the description in any way.
All right.
I think we might have to put a link up for people that want to buy that shirt for 12,000. Just for in case. Listen, guys, thank you very much. This has been a tremendous amount of fun. Henriette, I'm so glad I've met you, and I wish you guys well on your trip to Oman.
Cheers, bro.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
I was waiting very long to say bro to someone.
Guys, thank you very much. It's been fun. I'm just going to stop, so we'll just have a quick chat afterwards. But thank you very much, and keep safe.
Yeah.
Thank you.